If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with the first of two episodes of Under the Radar for you guys for the week of August 25th. Yeah, there was quite a lot of albums that came out on August 25th that I was curious to check out, that I wanted to talk about on two different episodes. So, 7 albums in total. This first episode is going to consist of the big 3 albums, like the 3 biggest underground albums that came out this weekend that wasn't Deathlike or Incantation. And we're going to kick that off with Grand Cadaver with Deities of Deathlike Sleep. So this is a Swedish death metal supergroup featuring current and former members of Dark Tranquillity, Catatonia, In Mourning, and Tiamat. But the most notable member is Michael Stane, or Stan, from Dark Tranquillity, the vocalist of Dark Tranquillity. And this is straight up old school Swedish death metal, that Boss HM2 tone, which, of course, as you all know, I am a whore for Boss HM2 guitars in any form of metal. And for the most part, this band does it pretty damn well. You got some killer grooves, some awesome D-beat stomps, some thrashy sections. Of course, I would say probably the only criticism I would have is it does feel a little bit derivative of the bands of the past, but even if it is derivative, it doesn't matter. It's still pretty damn good stuff. And after all, if you're paying homage to Swedish death metal, who better to pay homage to than some of the best? Entomb, Dismember, Bloodbath, but there's even little inklings of Dark Tranquillity in some of the more melodic sections that you get on here. But overall, this was a pretty solid album. This is actually their second full length, I didn't know. But I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. I thought this was a fun listen. Again, if you are a fan of old school Swedish death metal, definitely give it a listen. But now moving on to probably the most disturbing album of the entire bunch, and that is Blut with Disharmonium, Nahab, or Nahab, however you want to say it. But yeah, this is a French avant-garde black metal band, and I don't recall if I checked out the Disharmonium Deathless Abysses, or whatever that was from last year, in an Under the Radar episode. If not, I feel ashamed, but if I did, well, there you go. So this is the second part of this Disharmonium series that Blut is doing, and, well, it's dissonant, it's murky, it's claustrophobic, it's sinister, but there's some sullen melodies that kind of get sprinkled here and there on a few tracks, but the production, it's raw, it's grimy, slimy. After all, this is H.P. Lovecraft worship right here. And when I say dissonant, it gets absolutely dissonant, almost to the point where it just sounds like everything's going off it's like the train's about to fall off the tracks. I get a lot of hints of bands like Ulcerate, Deathspell Omega, Portal, and Imperial Triumphant with how experimental and dissonant this is, but there are some little catchy moments that do kind of pop up here and there. But really the big problem I have with this album, the vocals are so buried and they just kind of feel like they're just in the background, don't really do much. So for those reasons, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 as well, just because musically, some of the musicality on here is pretty impressive, but I'd like to hear the vocals come out more. But now that leaves us with only one album left of the bigger bands, and that is Exmortus with Necrophony. So this is a California thrash metal band, or some people might call them neoclassical or technical thrash or tech death / thrash. Either way, it's still thrash, no matter how you slice it. But yeah, this is actually my first time checking out an Exmortus album. I know I'm a big thrash head, but there are still some thrash bands that just escape me. And Exmortus was one of those bands that just completely wasn't in my head. But when I saw they had a new album coming out, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot and see what I think. Holy crap, there's some really cool stuff on here. The little instrumental interludes and intros and whatnot. I know some people don't like that. I personally like them because it kind of showcased some nice build-up into the next songs, which I thought they did pretty well. They got plenty of thrashy aggression, occasional atonal lines on the guitars. The guitar work, technical, yet some moments of classical. The production, I will say, it's solid production, really good mix, but still retaining a gritty guitar tone. But the bass work on this album, mwah, chef's kiss. You could hear the bass, and the bass work on this album is really, really cool. So, basically, if you are a fan of bands like Revocation, Skeleton Witch, Vector, and even as far back as Coroner, you'll dig this. I dug it. I give it 8.5 out of 10. I thought this was a really good album, and maybe I need to check out some old Exmortus and see what I've been missing for the most part. But of course, this is all just my opinion. What did you guys think of these albums? And of course, they'll all be in the description box below. And stick around for part 2 later this week. But until then, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.